Welcome in, welcome all. Welcome to the show. You feel me? This channel is Be More Balanced. This channel is an ode to just authenticity, and that's what we're going to get into today. If you haven't tapped in or tuned in before, welcome in. Welcome in. Come on in, have a seat, get comfortable. You mean? Okay? And my name is Jalen Porter, and this is Be More Balanced. So today, the topic of discussion is about authenticity. Okay, I was inspired by a comment that was left on one of my Instagram reels, about how this young lady, she was just like authenticity, right? And the reel that I dropped was could be a little controversial, but basically, I spoke on the fact how, the yogi girlies, the holistic girlies, your average community of spirituality always speaks about how, and I'm looking at, if I'm a little distracted, because I'm looking at the most beautiful cherry blossom tree in my backyard, two trees, and they're just falling down and they're pink. But anyway, the reel was about how in today's society, the common theme of music and frequencies and vibrations that we should be listening to is, your Hertz music, your all of that, which has its place, right? But my reel specifically, and maybe I'll drop the link to the reel so you can tap in to understand what I'm talking about, is that nobody said that you really have to listen to a specific version of music to get you to your peace, to get you to your equilibrium, or rather wholeness, right? Because we're not pieces, we're whole. We're not fragmented, we're whole. And in the reel, I was, doing my thing, water bending, you feel me? I was, in my happy element, which is the water, and I was swimming and I was just vibing. And the song that I chose to put in the background was one of NBA Youngboy's songs. And if you know of NBA Youngboy, you already may know where I'm going with this, but if you're not familiar, he's one of my favorite artists. We're not going to get into personalities, but music wise, chef kiss. Like, he's up there with the frequencies and the affirmations that I need sometimes in order to ground myself, in order to root myself. Hence, we outside. I have no shoes on, and this is about balance, right? And I bring that up specifically because I have a tendency to want to align myself with the most correct version of how to master spirituality, right? And if you tapped in and tuned into my first video, which I highly suggest because, it's a sequence of these things. Hopefully, the thoughts are in sequence, and it's okay if you haven't, but tap in. Is that spirituality doesn't look one way. It's not one place. It's not one city. It's not one body type. It's not one skin type. Like, it's not one characteristic trait. And so I mention all of that because a lot of people, the gurus and the girlies will have you feeling like, at least for me, that what you're listening to is low vibrational. What you're listening to is not of a higher resonance. Now, high vibrational versus low vibrational, there is a time and a place for everything, because if you're like me, and it's another reason why I'm up and I'm moving about, and you'll see this more often, is because I naturally have a lot of energy. Like, I'm one of those people where folks be like, what you take, or what you, honey, nothing, high off of life, okay? And so for people like me, I need to ground myself and move the body. Like, I was one of those kids. I don't need to be sitting still in a chair in a classroom. I don't want to hear you talking. I need to do. I need to move. That's why I was great in the sports realm. And so my point is, coming back to the point, trap music has my body feeling so grounded. Now, there are layers in the forms and the varieties of trap music that you're listening to, because you do need to be mindful and intentional if your psyche isn't grounded enough to be able to separate what is real from what is not. Like, I love NBA Youngboy's music, but I'm not gonna go outside and kill somebody. You know what I'm saying? Unalive someone. You know what I'm saying? Like, me personally. But what I can do is seize the day. Is kill the day. Is kill any negative energy that's in my way. Like, so that's how I alchemize and use that energy, that affirmation, that attunement for my own benefit. Okay. So another thing that I wanted to talk about in alignment with that, as we are be more balanced in everything that we do, is that Kundalini, right? So Kundalini, and please, do your own research, is the energetic frequency that is pure bliss, moving up one's spine, moving up one's energetic frequencies and meridians, right? So the ley lines that are inside of our body, and ley lines is typically a word that you would use to describe Earth, right? Earth has, if this is Earth, right? Earth has veins or lines, whether it's highways or roads or seas and oceans. All of those energetic points are what you would call ley lines. And think of a ley line, if you haven't heard of it before, just go briefly over it, is that ley lines are like the nervous system of the Earth, right? And that same nervous system, we got that too, right? And those energetic frequency points inside of our body, which some would call that our chakra system, our organs, or what have you, all work for our highest greats. Now they can work in the opposite direction as well, but the point is, especially when we're talking about being more balanced, is we want them to be used for our highest great. And I started this video off talking about authenticity. And the reason why I bring up Kundalini is because my Kundalini, your Kundalini, everybody's energetic frequencies, centers, and bliss, orgasmic expression, and I don't just mean sexual relations or that type of intimacy, it can be, but bliss, Kundalini, orgasmic frequencies can come from me looking at this beautiful tree in front of me, looking at this beautiful dogwood tree in front of me, looking at this beautiful, luscious pink cherry blossom tree in front of me, whenever I get to see hummingbirds, whenever I get to see the blue morphic butterfly. Like, it's just, I'm at a loss for words when I'm eating good food. Like, I'm sure that you have orgasmic or bliss-filled moments that don't have to do with another person or your sexual organs. It just has to do with you. Maybe that's being in the gym for you. Maybe that's, you just hit that buzzer beater shot. Like, whatever that is connected to your meridians, your ley lines, your Kundalini, your bliss. Okay. And it's really all timely in how and why I'm discussing this, as we are in one of, if not to me, the most occult season, April month, season of resurrection, season of these eclipses, season of bury the dead, rise up what needs to be risen. You feel me? So speaking about Kundalini is very timely. And how I pair it in balance with authenticity is because what turns me on, what gets me off, is not going to be the same thing that turns you on, that grinds your gears, that winds you up, that makes you feel good. Maybe you're not a dancer. I love to dance. Maybe you're someone that loves to cook. Maybe you're someone that loves to knit. Maybe you the fashion girly. Whatever it may be, that's why authenticity is so important. And, that's why listening to your own music, Hertz frequencies aside, is so important, Because you might have heard me mention NBA boy and you like, Shorty kind of left me. I might have, we might have left, got a follower or two, you feel me? But that's me. That's me. And if I am not standing firmly in that, it may not be forever, but if I'm not authentic in that and letting you guys know that, then we're not in balance. I'm trying to be some form of perfection that doesn't even exist. Not in this reality, not in my reality. So I want to encourage you, whatever your version of bliss looks like, even if it's weird and quirky to somebody else, as long as it's not harming anyone else. But maybe your form of Kundalini bliss is going to a pet shelter. Maybe you love hanging out with the elderly, which we need, by the way. Maybe you love painting, skating, comics. Like, I feel that it's very dangerous in our society how social media and media in general encourages and harps on the fact that authenticity is not what's always praised. The girlies looking their best as if there are no imperfections. And I love my girlies make it, look the best, but authenticity has its little flaws, its little cracks. You know what I'm saying? Like, authenticity is natural by nature. Literally, nature is not perfect. So how can we continue to push an agenda on our society as a whole that doesn't encourage authenticity? So I'm going to leave you with that and just let you sit and marinate with that thought. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's actually detrimental if you aren't authentic. It's actually detrimental if you are not being your true self. It's detrimental because I can't tap in and meet you and learn something that I had no idea about. I can't tap in and listen to you and hear that fluctuation in your voice when you're singing that to you might be a little off, but I'm like, ooh, like that brought me in because that's authentic, right? And so the last thing, how I kind of want to tie all of this together is one of my favorite songs is Stars Are Us, right? The Stars Are Us. Maybe I'll link that too. Jamaican artist. And it's true that the stars are us. From an occult and metaphysic perspective, literally and spiritually, we are the stars. Okay? Our ancestors who have gone on, the ones that did what they were supposed to do, they are literally the stars in the sky. They are the stars in the sky and they are guiding us. They are guiding us to be our best and most authentic self. So, because we are the stars as well on Earth, that's why they call celebrities stars, right? If we are not in balance and in alignment and in authenticity with ourselves as stars on Earth, then we are being manipulated because we're still going to move. But we're being manipulated in a frequency on the chessboard of life that is inauthentic, and it's actually dangerous because some people believe, and we don't have to get into this right now, but some people believe that our lives are destined, right? That there's destiny and then there's also free will. A part of that free will only becomes activated when you are the star in your own life that you're supposed to be. So if I'm operating on a frequency that's a little inauthentic to me, I'm not radiating, literally, scientifically, esoterically, spiritually radiating the frequency that's going to draw in the people who align with me. Somebody's going to miss me. Somebody's going to overlook me. They're not going to hear that one gem that they need to hear, or I'm not going to hear or feel or be drawn to that person because I'm not in balance with who I am, I'm thinking like, oh, well, nobody else, I haven't seen anybody else do this way, or nobody else, like, it doesn't matter, because the frequency that I'm radiating is in alignment with the other stars that I'm supposed to link up with. And that's why, and I've had some challenges with this over time, and I'm still doing my best. But when I see people who are afraid to change and are afraid of the backlash when it comes to their family members and friends who have known them one certain way, and they're afraid of like, oh, you flighty, oh, you are you changed, or you not the same, or what happened, you're supposed to change, because the frequency that you radiate, people depend on that. The frequency that you radiate, it's protection. The frequency that you radiate is in alignment with the rest of the stars and your ancestors that are able to come through you in the higher planes, as above, so below. So I don't want to make this too much longer, but hopefully you can take away these couple keys. Authenticity is your armor of protection, and not in a negative way, but the most beautiful way, so that you can attract and radiate those opportunities and those people and those synchronicities that are supposed to come to you because you're in alignment, right? Kundalini, your bliss depends on your authenticity, because what gets you off is not going to get the next man off. What inspires you, sparks inspiration in you, is key to you, key to your nature and your nurturing, right? And the stars are us. The stars are real. They are very much so alive. And the frequency that you emanate can only be attached or tethered to your correct grouping of stars and assist you in how you're supposed to move if you are authentic to yourself. So I love y'all. I hope to see you again soon. And thank you for being here. Thank you for gifting me with your time, because it is a gift. You could be anywhere else tuning into any other frequency because you're authentic to yourself. And I hope that you'll like this. Comment. I would love to hear from y'all. Like, really, like that, it warms my heart hearing from you, to really understand what else should be spoken on, or what other ideas or feelings that you have. Tell me something about authenticity, and share it, and subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Be more balanced in everything that you do, and everything that's supposed to come to you, it's already yours.